ensure that the plans, when we finally get the final copy of the plans and everything, they address all of the concerns.
It's gonna be more expensive than building a new house.
That's not our call.
So,
Well, that's gonna cost
He has submitted a permit
$160,000.
application for $31,000. So I don't,
I don't know.
it's not up to me to
Did
say
you
if we
check
can do it or
with-
not for 31,000, we will,
That's crazy.
so
Okay,
that's where we are right now.
okay. So I wasn't here for the
Those are
last.
only two?
What?
Excuse me?
Those are the only two?
Those are the only two updates I have right now. I still have
Where's
Mr.
Worcester
Bill.
Street?
Worcester Street is, the Attorney General has agreed to take it on. They've done the title search and they're gonna move forward with it. 361 Worcester, the one with all the
And
cars.
Really?
That's vacant as well.
That is vacant. The gentleman lives in the Catskills somewhere.
Yeah, but if I look on the town website, what's the issue with his sister as part owner in Chop?
Sister is no longer living.
Oh.
I believe the
Oh.
sister is deceased.
So the name is there and the estate's gone.
So, and the Attorney General has more skill than I do to pierce pierce that umbrella veil.
On the blight, where some of us went to school and maybe became dangerous.
I feared sending you that.
No, but we've been playing with Worcester Street for 20 years,
Yes,
if not more,
yes.
okay? These people ignore us. How long we've been playing with 80 Hamilton Street? Thank you for owing the town, how much money?
$59,000.
$59,000, and they gave us the deed.
Yep.
We've gotta pay to take it down,
Yep.
and it's not worth the paper that the deed is printed on.
Correct.
Did we ever look into like, never mind, we got the blight so we can start a process. But can we add, what was it, nuisance, the nuisance law?
Yep.
On top of the blight? To spark some interest, because you know what, we can fine them $1,000 a day. If they're not gonna pay us $59,000, they're not gonna pay us $1,000 a day, but it might spark some interest that if you wanna continue playing, each day, the bell rings. And at least if we can get somebody to move or recoup something, enough's enough.
I concur, but if we find,
But I
have a
think it
young
has to
responsive
be,
landlord, and I find him $1,000 a day, and he fails to pay that $1,000 a day, it just increases the lien, and we have that much more that's owed to us on a piece of property that's worth $5,000.
and can we get,
It's,
and then I believe you have to condemn the property to put the nuisance thing on or whatever, but if this goes on,
I
can
can,
we tear it down and clear the lot way before 20 years of the neighbors having their property values go down and the neighborhood looking like that?
the laws in place right now, the nuisance law, the blight law, the health law is actually a very strong law. Chapter 143 in the building code,
Yeah.
we can identify buildings and move through the process of taking them down pretty quick. I'm hesitant to do it in days rather than months, because I want to run through the court process and make sure that the courts back our decisions. Because if there's a T that's not crossed or an I that's not dotted, the town becomes liable for, you know, my mother's priceless grandfather clock was in there.
I don't disagree with you on months. The weakest link in this whole thing seems to be the court.
Yep,
But going on for 20 years, spending all this money time and time again, to have people just shrug their shoulders, flip their hair back and ignore us. It costs the taxpayers in this town more and more money. And the abutters and the responsible homeowners and landlords having to look at this stuff. I mean, we started trying this posting on the website.
Yep.
We
How is
know,
the website going, by the way?
there's 4 up, I believe.
there's 4 up.
Okay.
I have just taken the whole 66 Central Street
Yeah.
file and put it in order.
Okay.
And within the next week, I'll be adding that one to it.
Okay.
It's been there's a lot of steps we took on that one.
Posting as in the Shane posting?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
So 66 should be up there within the next
Yeah.
week, I would hope.
okay. All right, well, we will move along. Public health nurse update, what do we got?
Just got the official notice from the hospital, 30 days, we got the notice, I believe, on the 7th.
Of course we did.
30 days, they will cease public health nursing. I've reached out to Cheryl Rowensky to see if she will be a temporary until we figure out what we want to put in place permanently. I've got to sit down with Meritza and find out what we have dedicated in the budget for this. I have to sit down with Cheryl to see, I'm gonna try to break our diseases up. This board discussed it earlier, that we're going to basically just address the mandated requirements. We used to do flu clinics, we used to do just a whole lot of, I mean, we were giving out condoms, we were, sexual education, psychological, what is it? When somebody comes and just needs to talk,
Yep.
we're offering a lot of that. Right now, we need to concentrate on what the state mandates we do.
Which actually is really funny, because there are other programs at the hospital offers that does all of those things. So I'm not even sure why she was doing that.
That's fine, we were getting it, and as long as, I'd love to find alternate ways to get it, because they were beneficial programs.
Right, but I'm saying, like, I see it advertised on Facebook all the time, all the same exact programs, all of
Yeah.
those things that the hospital offers
But does it
in
offer
the
it,
community.
does it offer it for free?
Yeah, it's one of the, I'll look it up.
I'd love to
It's
get
one of
any
the,
information on that.
it's their community program.
Okay, I'd love to get information on that, because a huge thing that we had was vaccine for children. And I don't know where I'm going to get that replaced. There's a lot of programs she did. However, I think we need to concentrate on what the state mandates we get done. We're gonna try to break the disease follow-ups into, or disease investigations. I'm gonna talk with Cheryl, we're gonna try to break them into easy, medium, and hard. And I will try, hopefully, to bid it out based on the disease and the number of visits. Try to work that into our budget that we have for community health, and work from there. But my first step would be to reach out to Cheryl and see if she's got availability to serve us until we get a regular replacement. I would expect a retired nurse or a part-time nurse who wants to make a couple extra bucks would be the ideal person.
Can we go back to like what Beth said, because I think that, so we have a hospital in town,
Yeah.
which is providing services that we have not been utilizing, that we
The
have not-
hospital supplies us the nurse. We pay the hospital for the service right now.
Right, but you're saying they provide services that are valuable to us as a Board of Health, yet we didn't know about that.
I was not aware of that.
And that's, I understand, it's like, okay, but we know that now.
Yep.
Okay, we know that now, and I think it, especially in like we're losing public health nurse, the hospital is in town, has services that we just make as many connections, because the more connections we have at the hospital, the better.
Right.
It's just gonna make.
So interestingly, it wasn't until Andy and I went and had that meeting with her
Yeah,
that we even knew half of the stuff that she was doing, that I even noticed that, like, hey, wait a minute, the hospital does offer this stuff, so why, like, I didn't understand, why is she actually doing this on her own, more or less, when the hospital does offer the same exact programs as a community effort.
right,
So
and then
that's
it's
what- so
saying,
that's
then
what I-
that
that's what I
her
didn't
time could have
understand.
been used in other ways also, maybe.
So like I said, it wasn't until we actually met,
Right.
and she
Well,
kind
I
of
didn't
ran
know.
down, all these things that she was doing. And I was
And I
like,
would have never
wait a
known the
minute.
hospital.
Until I started, actually looking into a few things. That I saw that they actually have several of those programs that they offer. And so, we'll have to look into that a little bit further to see what they actually have that we can kind of utilize.
Or at least advertise for it.
Right.
The other question is, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 18 other communities in the same boat that we are, are we not?
12.
I believe there's 8.
I was gonna say it's not
Is it?
18, it's not 18.
I believe it's 8. It's the Wales, the Hollands, the,
So, question, if now the communities have to pay their own,
yep.
do we know what the other ones are doing and maybe consolidate and
I do
then
not. I have
pay, like Bay Path, we pay by the amount of kids we send. If we could get a corporation like they have for what do you call the nurses that come up and? they
Visiting
work for
nurses.
us?
Visiting nurse?
No,
VNAs? No.
no. It's like you'll sign a contract from your company and you come work here. for
Oh, like the
6 months.
travelers.
Travelers. A company that would,
So we
Give us a better
we
rate.
talked about that, but in the short term,
I mean, we gotta cover our
it's
butts.
not something that we can, like Andy and I were trying to figure out how maybe we could, going forward, we could figure something out and go into like co-op
Mm.
with some of these other towns. But every town is different. Some towns, she did more stuff for some towns, less for others. It was very confusing. And
But
she
that's what
really
she
didn't
did.
have.
Correct, but the,
So we would have the
But she
minimum
had, but she
requirements.
had separate contracts with every single town. The hospital had separate contracts with every single town.
Okay,
and we discussed with her what type
Okay.
of financing she got, and we by far blew away the other. So if we did that, we would be carrying the boat.
So then again, we would be doing everything.
It
well, the other
just,
thing too is that, you know, if we have to go to upstairs with a budget, we have to have all the numbers. You gotta have the numbers in a row, because you know how it's gonna be in the subcommittee.
Well, and that was it, and she didn't have that stuff either. Not the right information, anyway.
Cheryl Verwinski, she's got several towns, and I hesitate to take her on as a permanent because I think she's overextended. However, she is talking about bringing another nurse to assist her, and she's amazing. She worked for me in Auburn, and I've met the nurse she's planning on taking on. So if she takes it on, she would be my consideration for being the replacement. And we would, again, pay her either a set fee for the town of Southbridge for the year, or per disease that she investigates. And if we wanted additional services, say we wanted to hold a flu clinic, she would price that out and give us the price for that. So we could basically menu shop what we wanted
can I,
services from her.
I may be confused and enlighten me. It doesn't seem like we're taking full advantage of an incredible resource we have in town, which is the hospital. And maybe it's just like, isn't there a relationship that we should be building directly with the hospital? Whether, I mean, they have resources that are unavailable to like a nurse, you know, as a whole hospital, and they're right here. And so what am I missing? I mean,
We
is
have
it
been,
good?
we have been partnering with the hospital.
Right.
Understand, our public health nurse
Yeah.
was an
It's
employee of the hospital. The hospital has made a
Right.
conscious decision to stop that program.
But can we still stop that program, but can we still have maybe a different relationship directly with the hospital without the nurse, without having the nurse? You know, to get some of those services, or have those services provide. Now,
Well, no, it's
I'm
not,
not sure.
not those specific, what I'm talking about are the extras. The extra stuff that she does that is not required
okay,
of what we are paying her to do.
okay,
Passing out condoms was not a requirement.
Right.
That was something that she did. There's other things, there's other programs
Okay.
that do those sorts of things. Or, you know, like.
so you're saying
that's-
she was doing extra things?
She was doing other things for,
Yes.
specific to our community
But
because
that's-
she was here based
That's-
in our
that's
community.
what
That's for her primary job,
Right.
that needs
Not
to be
saying it's
replaced.
good, bad, and different,
Okay,
but
I
I'm
got it.
saying there's other programs within the hospital that do those things. So I wasn't really sure why she was doing them because other programs do that,
I would love to get a lot of her
Among-
services replaced.
among other,
And I will
you know,
talk to
among
Ed
other
more, Ed
things.
Moore, right?
Yeah,
I'll talk to Ed Moore about
but I'll
what's
have to,
available.
I'll have to find out,
Mm.
I know who, I know the girl who works in the community outreach. So I have to find out what all the stuff is that they're doing and see. Cause that's kinda, cause that will make the difference, because some of that stuff, you know, we can probably be absorbed in through there and work with them to try and, you know, do some of that stuff.
Excuse me, are you guys aware that Ed Moore is coming before the town council meeting on Monday? he's talking about the programming changes and stuff. So that might be enlightening. I have in my calendar 6 PM, so that's on December 17th.
I have intention of attending that meeting. I do not have any intention of asking him about this in front of the crowd. This is something to talk to him behind the scenes, but I do want to see what he's
Yeah,
changing.
he might just answer your questions just because, you know? He might just say it and you, oh, that's it.
All right, we good?
Yeah.
All right, tobacco regulations.
As you may and probably do know, the state has voted to move the age to sell tobacco to 21. There is they are however going to grandfather it. Otherwise, if you turn 18 before December 31st, you can purchase cigarettes, you can continue to purchase cigarettes. So there is a push for boards of health to just close the door and say 21 or nothing. And they're doing that because they're saying that we're gonna confuse the retailers if we change the date every year. And I started looking at it and I'm
We're
like,
not changing it.
if we produce stickers and say every retailer has to put a sticker on their thing that says, if you're born before December 31st, 2000, I believe, that sticker will just sit there for 3 years. It'll be good for 3 years because it will follow the age going up. And then after 3 years, we'll have to change the sticker. So I don't necessarily see the confusion.
Well,
But
after
if you-
3 years, it's 21.
Well,
Period.
Right.
being that our retailers can't seem to card people anyway, so what's different?
So I put it before the board whether they want to adopt a regulation. If we do, we have to do it before the law goes into effect, so we would have to have a meeting between,
To have an emergency meeting before Christmas.
it wouldn't be an emergency meeting because
I'm just saying.
I would advertise it this week, we would have the meeting between Christmas and New Year's, and we would vote on it. We would have a hearing and vote on it at the hearing if the board wanted to do that. I would quickly.
To grandfather?
No.
Not.
No,
To
To
not
not
grandfather,
grandfather.
and just make it no one under.
So people who could buy cigarettes right now on
That's
January
wrong.
2nd couldn't.
For nice and simple. The law says, the law starts on January 1st, no one under 21.
That's not what the law says. The law says, as of January 1st, we are moving the purchasing age to 21.
Yeah.
However, if you were 18 before then, you can continue to buy.
Yeah,
So that's in keeping consistent with the law.
we don't want to do that. I want 21.
You want 21 across the board, period.
Yeah,
So do I, but.
If this happens, we need to move immediately.
I make a motion that we have a
Nice.
meeting to hold a session to just make a simple 21.
Well, we didn't get feedback here from the other two.
I made a motion, then a second, and then discussion, right? Yeah, there's
All right, I'll
no
second it.
discussion,
All right,
there's
where's
no
our
discussion if there's no second.
All right, I second it.
For a meeting, right, to discuss it?
No, for a hearing to
For
adopt the
a
law.
hearing to
His
adopt.
motion is to move it to 21 period.
Period.
To the 21 period, exactly.
So at that meeting, we'll discuss,
No.
No,
At
No,
that meeting, you
oh,
will,
No
we're just gonna,
discuss.
oh, we're just gonna vote.
you will hear evidence,
we're gonna
Okay.
do
hear
the
testimony.
hearing,
Okay,
and then,
Gotcha.
and then.
that meeting
Gotcha.
you're talking
Alright.
about, correct me if I'm wrong, if we vote now to go 21, that meeting we have to schedule has to be a public hearing.
Has to be a
Correct.
public hearing.
Yeah. Public hearing for the public to speak. If nobody shows up, or 1 million people show up, we might have to have another one, depends how long it lasts.
It
And
has
then
to
at the end of
happen.
that meeting, we have to vote,
It has to be voted on before December 31st.
and that's what I mean.
So if there's 1 million people here all clamoring, then that might change our position. If nobody's here, that might help the position. That's perfectly, that's how it's supposed to be. If they can convince us that we should grandfather,
Now.
then we'll vote it that way.
Who's gonna convince you, or me for that matter,
Will you
that
stop?
smoking is good?
well, who's gonna show up? All the.
Okay, first, I made a motion, it was second discussion.
So this is our
Question.
discussion, okay?
This
The
is
tobacco regulation,
insane.
What?
This is gonna be an insane schedule if you say yes to this.
You're absolutely right, but my question is this,
Why?
You know who's gonna be
Get it
mad?
out
It's
there.
gonna be the retailers.
the tobacco regulation, what does that incorporate?
Everything. It includes vaping and everything.
That's what I'm saying.
It
Chew,
includes- it
all
includes
tobacco
vaping.
products, right?
All tobacco products.
According to our regulation. So our
That's
regulation
what I mean,
includes
when you read
vaping.
our regulation, it's vaping,
Yep,
any tobacco product,
yep.
okay? Where does marijuana fall into this?
Any product
Any
that is
product.
combusted, our regulations define
It
tobacco.
all.
That's what I mean, because I
it's all
thought
in
you
there.
sent it to us, and I
They
read it
still
like,
don't
I
have a
think,
problem
4
with it.
times.
Some
It's
have
all
a
in
problem with it.
Here's my deal. Is it gonna be able to be enforced?
Yes,
Right, so.
yes, because we do this.
I mean, marijuana technically, you're not supposed to buy it unless you're 21 now anyway, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Not tobacco.
It is tobacco, it falls under the tobacco regulations.
Falls under the regulation, that's my
Yes.
point, so does vaping.
We do have this.
And I'm gonna tell you what. I am not against it,
I'm not
because
sure.
if I can quit, anybody can quit, I'll
That's
tell
what
you
I'm
that
saying.
right now. And it's the
25
best damn
years.
thing I ever did in my life. Wasn't easy, but you can try. And the whole problem is
Right,
the secondhand crop.
but we're debating the merits when we,
Third.
when we have the hearing to debate the merits, right? We just have to agree to have the
How many
vote,
towns out
the
there?
hearing.
Have you heard any feedback?
Did it go on to 21? There's actually,
There's
there's a,
60 out of the
there's-
361 right now, as of today,
there's
correct?
several
We
now.
went to a training today.
That's what I meant, to see where the trend is.
There's a lot of towns
60
that
out
are
of
going,
360 have
They're going
adopted,
to
21, that's it.
period.
Yeah, period. What's the downside?
There isn't one.
Beside the retailers?
The
There
only
isn't one.
downside is somebody complaining that today I'm allowed to buy it. Tomorrow, you gotta go to Quinnebog.
There's gonna be a
Sorry.
subset. There's gonna be a
Think about
there's gonna be a subset, a small subset of kids, and I say
We only need
kids,
1 week.
Right.
that
Because
are gonna have to go over the line, or they're gonna have to go to Sturbridge.
Go to Dudley, go to Sturbridge, whoever
One
sells
way
it.
to get
And
it
it's
in.
no different than you can go into service.
I would have to send
Well, what's
it
the drinking age?
Monday to
Right.
get it on Friday.
That was another bite. I'm sorry.
Look, I had to go to
And
Connecticut
then
to drink.
have a hearing on
I mean, there's, you know, so,
We're gonna be here
And
on
it's just for
Tuesday.
sales, right? So it's
Yes.
not like,
It's
so if there's a
purchase.
19-year-old kid sitting on the
Purchase.
corner,
it. Open New Year's Eve?
Can we move the question, because
I just want to know if
When
there's
do we
any
need to get it to
downside.
the paper
Because
to have it?
honestly, like Ron
The
said,
only
I'm not against
downside-
it.
Said Monday?
The only downside right now is to get the scheduling done to get this done. In the short term. We got till the end of the month.
What does
That's
that
the only
entail?
tough.
We would
we
need
just
to
have to have a hearing.
What's
get
it-
the
what's it-
notice to the newspaper by Monday, but Rich is off tomorrow.
It's always on.
What?
well, then that means you have to do it.
That would put it in the newspaper on the 21st, and we would have to get a letter out to all the retailers. And then we could have the hearing anytime between Christmas and New Year's.
And that would be a public hearing.
And if everything goes good, it's all done at that public hearing.
Right,
Because you close the public hearing, take a vote.
right, like to Dave's point, that-
Yep.
that's there. If they have an opinion.
Tomorrow,
Yep.
tomorrow I
Voice
would
it,
call,
and
tomorrow I would call Attorney Sabara and ask her, how do I streamline this? How do I shoot this forward?
You know, what's the other towns doing? We're not the first ones. Is
We're
my
not,
point.
we're not the first.
We're not the first ones, so
Everybody's
what did
doing
they
it.
do?
I mean, if you read
Not to
everything on
belittle it, but I'll make
everybody's
a
doing
motion
it.
that we adopt a 21-year period.
Let's try to hear you made that motion.
Right,
Oh, he
we
did?
have a motion on the table.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This was the discussion
vote.
phase.
All right, I'm done talking.
Nice try.
Nice try.
He's trying to steady thunder.
He was. You know what, he could have my thunder.
You're a generous guy.
You know what, he's got his own thunder.
Listen, I know what you would do.
He's got his
I know
own
where he
thunder.
lives too.
What's that?
We have motions, can I ask for the chair to move this question along? We can get out of here before midnight.
There's no
We
other.
need a vote.
Right, so we just,
Yes. We need a vote, don't we?
No other comments, all in favor?
No other comments?
no other comments?
All in favor?
I hate you all. Let me co-share with
Get that in the
Jake.
paper tomorrow.
See if we can move this in. We'll let the board know if we are too late, but I don't think we are.
I don't think we are. That's how we roll, man. That's how it's done.
We make things happen in Southbridge.
All right, agenda.
We're halfway
item
through the
number-
Do
agenda,
we,
Shut up, we're
and it's
almost
9
done.
o'clock.
Oh,
do we want
It's
to,
not.
When we speak,
Agenda item number 7.
but do we want to discuss a time for that? Do we need that
No.
now, or give you an opening?
well, we
on that
schedule our
public
next meeting.
That public meeting,
Next
public
meeting,
hearing?
next meeting.
It's a board of health meeting, we'll discuss it when we schedule. I got a list of our meetings, we're good.
No, I thought you told me this has to be,
Between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah,
He
he's-
did-
correct, we're
he's
not
got
gonna
the
have a,
list.
we're not gonna have
He's
a
gonna
meeting.
call it, he's
We're
gonna
going to
contact.
schedule our next meeting
When we schedule the
At
next
the-
meeting,
at
we will
Okay.
at
discuss it.
November 12th.
All right, thank you.
come on, Roland.
Agenda item number 7, new
Not a good
business.
week.
You work too long.
Recycle coordinator.
Not a good
We're
week.
gonna have to
Test
get
program. Anna.
little toys to play with, so
You're so
Squeezy
festive.
balls.
I approached the board, the council, they approved the position of a temporary recycle coordinator. I would like to introduce Ms. Anna Smith. We have her minimally until the capping starts. I've set aside $25,000 to pay for this position. Again, her goal, I know there is not full agreement in this within the public, but right now, if a load of recycling gets rejected and sent to trash, then the whole load is trash. So our goal right now is to improve quality. If this is effective, I will petition the council to keep this position alive. I have enough money to keep this position alive for several years. I will petition the council to keep it going, and we will work towards increasing quantity again. But this is gonna be a huge educational thing, even for us, because some stuff that I recycle, I gotta find out if it's recyclable, you know?
Right.
They say only clean product, but what constitutes a clean can that's gonna be melted down as opposed to clean paper? So this is gonna be an educational thing for all of us, and I truly suspect the volume is probably gonna dip a little bit when we get all the stuff that's not allowed in, out. But at least what we send them will be pure, and then once we get that, we can start building capacity again. But quantity is our first look. So I've asked Anna to start working towards, spend the rest of this month working towards a 3-month plan to see what we can accomplish in 3 months. I estimate that January, February, March. Towards the end of March, middle of April, we'll probably be back to capping. So I've asked Anna to come up with, and I doubt that she's finished with it yet, we talked about it a little bit today, but I've asked her to start working on a 3-month plan and spend the rest of this month working on a 3-month plan on where we can go and where we can get our best bang. So let me turn it over to Anna and see what we have accomplished.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about this. It's kind of like a job that I've always sort of wanted but never went for, so I'm really, excited that I'm gonna have the opportunity to do some of this. I've done some of it in other communities, but, anyway. So I've, kind of hit the ground running. I did clue into DEP's Recycling IQ Kit, which talks about an attainable goal of, 8 to 12 weeks to get this rolled out where you could actually make a difference in the quality of the recycling. And other communities are doing it. It's not a problem that's unique to us, right? So it's needed. It's very much needed. I've contacted Auburn, Paul Dignan in Auburn, trying to set up a meeting with him, our hauler, the guys on the ground here in Southbridge that actually drive the trucks and see what they're up against. See if we can't do like a team meeting and figure out what roles we can each play in making these improvements. I also contacted Irene Collington. She been to the meeting. Do you know who she is? She works for DEP. They used to call them MRIP coordinators. I'm not really sure what they're calling them now. But they're like community resource people for recycling. And, she's got a ton of ideas. There's grants that might be available to us, to supply educational materials, people to come and train us on how to audit our program. So that's available. I spoke with Jerry Galena when we were in Auburn, because Andy and I have been to Auburn a couple times and looked at the loads to see what exactly is coming in for contaminants, and that was pretty eye-opening.
But
You know, to
On
see
those
some of the things.
pictures.
And some of the contaminants are not only, you know, they, obviously causing them to become waste instead of recycling is not what we want, but there's other considerations as well that, you know, they become a hazard in the plant where they're recycling for the people. Some of the things they call tanglers, like cords and stuff, can actually jam up the equipment, so, you know, there's a lot of things, considerations in this. But Jerry was there and what was I gonna say about that?
Oops.
What's that? Oh, the oops tags. They're already, and I didn't bring them with us, but they have these oops tags that they're slapping on the recycling containers when they have a lot of contaminants in them, which I thought was pretty clever, you know, it's not like hitting them over the head, it's like, oops, you know, you made a mistake, you put something in there that shouldn't be in there. So, let's see, what else am I doing?
Does it, I mean, we discussed this before, you see a lot of bags, a lot of them that have trash bags. Because I have a
Yes.
trash bag in my house, and I don't think a lot of these people are doing it intentionally.
No, I don't think so.
Does the oops sticker have a place that you can take a Sharpie and put what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it identifies what it is. There's a little tear-off piece at the bottom that records the address and what the issues were. so that,
Okay,
you know, it becomes part of your file, like
Good.
you would take a file on that.
because if we can't, you know, we can't reach it with education and why,
Right,
then we have to go to step B,
right,
and we have to have records of why. No, I like
right,
that, yes.
exactly. We
Yes.
need to collect data, what
Yep.
exactly, you know, what areas of town are problematic, you know, that can all be done through the audits.
Nice.
Leaving the stuff there is very effective, from what I understand. You know, like leaving the recycling bin if it has a lot of contaminants in it, that really gets people's attention. So, I mean, we'd want to discuss whether we're gonna, you know, what pieces are we gonna do? So right now, it's like I kind of have, I think, a big look at it, but it's like refining
Yep.
how we're gonna proceed and who's doing what and that kind of thing, and what the resources are. You know, we talked about education, of course, we were wanting to do maybe something with the high school, bring them to Auburn, let them do a video. You know, the, what do you call it, the Honor Society maybe would take it on as
there's a
project.
video club that I have, two students that are taking on this project, so it's a small,
Video club.
yeah. No, they think they're, yeah, well, they were supposed to take it
And we
on.
talked about this before, and if we can grab the kids. Who, in God's name, made you wear your seatbelt, but your younger kid always yelling at you from the back seat? So if we can grab the children as a tool,
Right. Start
Even-
early.
it takes out the language barrier and things like that, so that was one of the thoughts that we had bantered around.
So if you have an ability to take these kids to Auburn, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because then you know, let them see the whole process
Exactly.
and maybe film.
I have to say, she's my employee. I would want to either with a parent or with a chaperone from the school.
No, I would go also. I would go.
Yeah,
And we can get a hold of the policeman and
We
we
talked about that.
can bring them out there.
Yeah, I'll go also.
They'd love to get
Or
back to
they'll
the
bring it.
Yeah.
And they
It's
always
really
need
fascinating.
public service. These kids, year after year after year, for their scholarships and these different committees, they need
Yeah.
public service, and this is a good way to just get free labor.
As long as, can I say this about safety?
Paramount.
Right, as long as we can do it safely.
Yes.
And it takes care of all of us.
She wouldn't let me out of the truck, because I'm the best one I had.
Yep.
Yeah. But I also wanted to see if,
She wanted you out of the truck.
yeah, Andy's biggest offender.
She didn't want to.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
oh, you keep on getting cut off though, so.
Well, I just wanted to open it up if anybody wanted to, you know, if there are any other ideas you want to throw at me at this point, or you want to wait to see how it
We
gets.
Yeah.
know Miss Anna is part-time. She is, well, not full-time. She's
Part-time.
part-time. So she usually doesn't work on Thursdays. So I asked her to shift her schedule around and come in and meet with the board tonight. hoping that if you had any ideas, you could, at least present them, and then we could battle those and see how they fit in. If they don't fit in, we'll let you know. But, education, I think, is gonna be the key on this one. I would envision that I would take you in for the meeting tonight, probably towards the end of February, try to get another one so that she can give an update on what's going on. And then, right before she leaves to go back to capping, give a recap of what we've accomplished or what has not been accomplished.
Whatever works.
The problem with the kids right now with the recycling is they see it in the abstract. They're not actually seeing it. They don't quite get what's going on. So I think getting them to the processing facility, maybe getting them up to maybe the landfill also. And it's not a large group. It's only gonna be like 2 or 3 right now because it's really their project. I think they'll film it and then they'll figure out what they want to do. I know what I would want to do, but then I can give suggestions, but it has to be their project and their idea, so.
And I think before we bring them, we would have to educate them on what is recyclable, so that they can be the ones to use a hook and pull sign on and say, this is not because of it, So
Right,
that would
and
be-
so maybe, I think it's gonna take 2 trips. It's gonna take an understanding trip, and then they'll come up with a plan about what they would wanna do, and then maybe film it the next time. But I think first time should be a learning experience to get their head around what's going on, and then, they have this idea, and then maybe we can throw out some ideas. Also, I agree with you, my idea for them was like to do like a Jeopardy game, is this recycling, is it
Did I
not?
say the same thing?
Yeah, so, no, that's not recycling, you lose 100 points.
Wow, I said the exact same thing to you.
So when this gets detailed to
Those are
trash,
all.
doesn't that kind of
Right.
cost us money?
Huh?
If it gets detailed and have to be picked up, because it is now going into the waste stream instead of recycling stream, doesn't this cost us more money?